Google Analytics. These two words may conjure up some nebulous, hard to grasp, or intimidating thoughts for you. While Google Analytics is a robust tool with a lot going on inside of it, I'm here to just share a little bit about what Google Analytics is, why it's important, and what you should be looking for in there, and how to get started without getting too lost and getting sucked down the rabbit hole that it can be. So did you ever have one of those professors or teachers that was especially helpful and insightful? You could always visit them during office hours to learn more about what you're doing well and, quite frankly, maybe not so well. Google Analytics is like that good professor. It gives your web presence a thorough, objective assessment and provides insight and guidance based upon the performance of your website. It's almost like having the whole thing graded, except the grade is fluid and it's changing, so you can always work to do better. Unlike that test that we all begged to retake and we just never had the chance. Inside of this software, you can see all the specific information about what your grades are, tracking these specific metrics that will ultimately indicate how effective your overall internet presence is. If you've ever had a bad professor, you've just gotten an essay paper or a test back with just a grade, no comments or annotations about how you could have done better. So the deal is, how are you supposed to do any better if you don't have any feedback? Trying to understand how well your internet presence is doing without Google Analytics is similar. You might be able to see how many people are coming to your website, but you likely don't know anything about where they came from, how long they stayed on your website, what they did when they were there, or maybe where they're from, what town are they in. You need this information to make, well, more informed decisions for things like your advertising spend and strategy, your general website design, strategic planning. You see, Google Analytics is the primary go-to tool that records all that's happening within your website. It analyzes those activities and visualizes the resulting data to give you a clear picture of who your audience is and what it is that they want from you. So there's a couple ways to get started if you need a new account. But for brevity, just ask your web developer or just get in touch with us because it's really easy to do. And it's free. Who doesn't like free? Now, there's a bunch of information available to you through your Google Analytics dashboard, including the audience, how they're getting to the website, acquisition, behavior, what they're doing, and conversions information and data. We're going to walk through each one of these inside of a Google Analytics demo account so you can see what it looks like. So if you want to follow along, take a moment to pause this video to open up your own Google Analytics account, or just click on the link that'll be in the description below to visit the exact same demo account that I'm on so you can actually use the software as I'm going along. Trust me, folks, there's just nothing quite like clicking around yourself as we're listening and going through this to learn how to use this tool. Okay, so you've got a browser opened and you're going to type in google.com/analytics. What it's going to do is require you in the upper right-hand corner to sign in to your analytics account. Now, you should be looking at your companies, but in this case, we're looking at a demo view. So there's a lot of stuff in here. I'm just going to stay on the top level, but in the left-hand side, you definitely can navigate between all the stuff that matters. So audience, acquisition, behavior, conversions. So to start with, we're just going to start on the overview page. You can see in the top right-hand corner, you have a date range. It's always handy to look at a larger sample size. One thing I like to do is maybe go to the start of the year, up until now, compared to the previous year. So you have a point of reference and you can kind of see trend lines. So as you scroll down, you can see, hey, how many people are on the page currently or doing stuff on the website as opposed to last year. So we can see that the orange line is related to last year. The blue line is this year. The top right, you have different things like hourly, day, week, month. You can see that the lines will start to smooth out when you go into this. So, easier to smooth things out. In a general sense, this is all about your website. Users are unique people or devices that are on your engaging your website. Sessions is how many times they're coming to your website, and you got a nice feature when you hover over stuff. Don't be afraid to do that. Sessions per user, page views, pages per session. That's a good one to look at because how long are they staying and how deep are they engaging into your website? Bounce rate is an all-important one for SEO, meaning, do they just go ahead and engage your website for a short period of time and bounce away before doing anything? Average session duration, this is all about quality. Some of the other really interesting things to look at would be things like demographics. You can see age and gender, those kinds of things, how those different groups are engaging with your website. Another one that I really like is geo. So in the left-hand column, geo, look at location. So let's say that you're a tourism business, which many of our clients are, and you're trying to do targeted advertising into certain regions, the United States. So it's cool when you click on these data sets, it'll drive down into deeper levels. State, if you wanted to go from state down into city, just click on that state and see what's going on. Interestingly enough though, one thing that I like to look at is metros. These are DMAs. This is a good way to look at it because when you do advertising, let's say in Google Analytics or with Google AdWords and other major advertising companies, DMAs are what you're looking for. So generally what you're going to be looking for are definitely anomalies. You want to be figuring out, hey, what's going wrong or what's going right, that the data is kind of really popping in some way or another. It's a large number. Across the top here, again, same things that we were looking at. Bounce rate, pages per session, page duration, so you can know if you did, let's say, a campaign in San Francisco and the page duration was this, but you did the same campaign in Los Angeles, but you saw a real engagement increase, that 33%, I would know then that the folks in Los Angeles had a better response to my advertising if I was trying to get them to hang out on the website. However, if your goal was sales, obviously San Francisco did a better job of sales than people in Los Angeles. But then again, look at how many people in Los Angeles are on the website versus how many people in San Francisco. So this is a deep rabbit hole, just looking at some different things about how deep you can go. Another top level, acquisition, what this is about. How do people get to the website? Was it through Google search? Organic search? Did they type in your website? Did they come from social media? You can see my mouse and following along. Were they referred to your website from some other website, so you had a backlink somewhere? Did you do paid search? Things like that. Affiliates, meaning you've got some sort of setup with another company or whatnot that's driving traffic to your website, so a special relationship. Display ads, other, your email newsletter software. So this is how people get to your website, and comparing it year over year. You notice as I continue to hover over things, more data usually pops up, or explanations. Without going into further detail, it is kind of nice to see though, organic search, who's using Bing or Yahoo or Google Analytics or Google. What are the different places where people are coming in through search? YouTube. Behavior is one of my favorite ones because this is what are people doing when they get on the website. So overview is just going to show you again the overall traffic, and then what are your most popular pages? How many page views are you getting? Is it up, down, sideways, so on and so forth. In the left-hand column, you can see that I'm adjusting what I'm looking at by going into different things. So here's going to be more data, all pages, just about these pages. How long are they spending on the home page? What is the bounce rate? So if you had, let's say, a really high bounce rate on your home page, that's not good. So 75%, let's say. You want to get that bounce rate down because you want people to get to your home page and go, wow, I need to know more. You want to invite them in, kind of like that whole nectar thing. Lastly, let's just touch on conversions. So a lot of the folks that we've worked with haven't ever set up conversions, and quite honestly, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to achieve. You really have to know what you're trying to get people to do. So sometimes they're just going to be drawn to a new website link within your website. So if the order was completed, let's see, number 2 right here. Let's say someone clicks on a shopping commerce or like a reservation or something like that, and now the order has been completed and it takes them to a new page on the website that's /order completed. This is a way to measure conversion, that people made the order, or they successfully registered for your event, or they gave you their contact information. All of these different things are ways to measure your advertising effectiveness. So conversions are kind of a big deal to make sure that they get set up inside of Google Analytics. If you need some help with that, let us know. We'd be happy to brainstorm with you. Lastly, we didn't really talk about this as one of the things, but the admin panel, this is where you can give people more access, like user management. And let's say that you had multiple different properties. You have, let's say, a website and then an e-commerce site. You can add different properties. If there was more than one, it would show right here. That way you can have one Google Analytics account and multiple websites. Let's say you have a mobile app or other things, they can live inside of this. A lot of times, just to get it set up, you're going to need to click on tracking info, then tracking code. A lot of times people are looking for this tracking ID to set up into your WordPress site. More often than not, they want the website tracking code. This is the universal analytics tracking code that you would plug in to the proper place in your website. So at this point, you've at least had a top level look at what's going on. You can see that very functional, deep rabbit hole. My advice would be to just get in touch with us or someone who kind of knows what's going on to give you further insight on what to do, but we will get into some more detail going forward. Well, as you can see, there's a ton of information inside of Google Analytics, and it's really useful, but an old boss of mine once told me that there's a way to have paralysis by analysis. You can get sucked down the rabbit hole. So hopefully this overview helped you see what it is that you should be looking at, because this is a really powerful tool if you know what you're looking for. If you haven't got your analytics account set up yet, it's important to note that the sooner you do this and get it hooked up into your website, the sooner you can start collecting this valuable information. You know, information is king, right? I mean, aren't we in the information age? Let's make this happen. So it may not seem like it, but we were actually just staying on the surface with all of this. There is so much more information and a deeper dive that's possible. So we're going to get into that into the future. However, it's never too soon to get started collecting this data. So if you have not gotten started with Google Analytics just yet, give us a call right away and we'll help get it set up and hooked into your website. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you learned a lot today, and have a great one. Bye for now.